To say no, well, I mean, Alex and I got along really well. We talked about a lot of things. We both play guitar. We played each other the songs that we wrote, and stuff like that. But we didn't talk too much about Vampire. Yeah.
Back in the center.
Okay, I just have to say this is actually like the fulfillment of like a life dream for me. And I turned 22 like 2 days ago, so it's also my birthday present. It's getting to see you here. Thank you. My question was, I saw on the blooper reel for Torchwood that you bit John Barrowman when you had to kiss him. And now you have me rolling on the floor, but my question was, there was a lot of aggressive kissing in Buffy as well. Did you ever end up biting somebody else by accident or being bit?
No. Sarah and I didn't bite each other, but we would almost hit each other. Like when we did fights, like whenever a stuntman fights Sarah, they're always really respectful and they give like 3.5 feet for the punch, you know? But I wasn't really very fireable on the show, so I would go very close to her face. Very close. Like, and she'd be like, I felt the wind on that one, James. I'm like, yeah, good take. So what she would do, she was fairly trained as a fighter too, and she kept clipping my nose just to remind me, you want to go in tight, man? We can go in tight if you want. She never hurt me, but with this big.
Over here.
Hi, okay. So my question kind of relates to her question. You said earlier that in the Buffy series, they would always give you, like, you were scared, it was kind of terrified. Did you feel kind of the same way when you read the Torchwood script that you had to make out with John Barrowman?
No.
When I read the script for Torchwood, I'm a subversive artist, which is to say that we are all taught things in this culture that are lies. Things like old people are boring, or you can buy cool, or that gay people can't be heroes, right? And so when I read that script, I was like, oh, this is my alley, man. This is exactly, like if I was producing theater, I would produce this script. This would be something that I cared about. So I was full on the whole time. And John is a great kisser.
Next question.
Hello. You've already mentioned your music, and I know you've done at least 2 CDs. Is that music something you want to pursue more?
It's something that I pursue in parallel with acting. In fact, tomorrow night I'm playing at the Hard Rock. Next weekend with my band Ghost the Robot, we're playing the San Diego Independent Music Festival. My son just joined the band. Yeah. My band, they voted him into the band without talking to me about it. That's how good he is. They're just like, we need him. Get him in now. Yeah. But yeah, I was playing in bars when I was 14, doing James Taylor covers. And I had to choose in college which one I wanted to do, and I chose acting, and it worked out great. But I'm not going to drop the guitar. Yeah, I like it. Keeps me sane.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there was differences between the actor and the musician.
You know, I tend to like artists who write material better than ones who simply perform material. So, I don't know, if you're writing your own stuff and acting it, then that makes you very, very cool in my eyes. Or if you're performing your own music and you're writing it, you're very, very cool. But I tend to like writers. So, did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So my question is, how do you deal with all the fame girls?
Very well. I grew up, I was a geek in high school. I was a geek until Joss Whedon found me, man. Like I was a theater geek. I used to drive around this city on a bicycle in the rain because I was poor, because I was an actor. And then suddenly Joss cast me as a rapist, bad guy, murderer, and suddenly the world opens to women. It did trip me out, you know, because I thought, you know, my life was a saint before I moved to LA. I was like one of those great artist people. And then I go to LA to sell my soul, and the world opens up. You know, to tell you the truth, though, all kidding aside, Buffy fans tend to be fairly intelligent and have a sense of humor. Otherwise, they wouldn't watch the show. So I don't really have a problem with fans, male or female. Everybody's cool.
Okay, so it's a room full of academics watching the Buffy Spike scene where everything is falling on around you and you guys are going at it. Probably what I would think is probably one of the riskiest sex scenes I have ever seen on television. And we're doing it until we're watching it, and then we're thinking to myself, oh my God, how the hell did this get past anybody? And how was it allowed to be shown? And it is now my responsibility for this group of women who are all watching it, getting ready to give academic papers on Buffy, to ask you this question. How did it get past censor?
This is a great question. Because the show flipped networks from the WB to the UPN. And at that time, the UPN was inexperienced with fiction. And they had no standards and practices department at the UPN.
Thank God.
There was no cop on the block at all for one season. And then they found out how far we were willing to go, and they got their department together. Bring us back in. But yeah, there was a lot of things that they wanted to do on Buffy. Even like they wanted a demon with skin piercing, and they never got that past the WB for some reason. So the very first episode, skin piercing. Yeah, but for a while there was no parent in the room.
You created the standards and practices for you. Over here.
I just finished watching all 7 seasons of Buffy in maybe 3 months, 4 months, and
You lucky.
and not only were you my favorite character, while I was watching it, all that was running through my mind, or half of it, was what was going on behind the scenes? Like, what was your favorite memory or the most hilarious thing that happened off camera?
We don't have standards and practices here, so go for it.
Okay, I'll tell a story. Okay, in preface, this is nothing against Sarah Michelle Gellar, who was a complete pro the whole time. Seriously. On time, with lines down, totally okay, totally cool. But she was the lead, and everyone had to be so nice to her. And I'm a punk rocker, I'm a subversive artist, and I didn't like that. I wanted, just because no one could tell her to F off, I wanted to be the one to do it. So there's a scene, I think it's 6th or 7th season, where my character is suspended about 17 or 25 feet off the air in a metal hoop, and I'm kind of dangling like that. And everyone's telling me this is going to be a really bad gag, it's going to throw your back, and this day is going to be just hell for you, la 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 la, right? I get on set, and the stunt crew is so kind, they gave me a waistband to support me. And I just told them, just cinch that as tight as you can. I don't care about breathing, just cinch it, right? So they cinched it really, really tight, they put me up, and I found that all I had to do was do kind of like a sit-up crunch, and it was cake. Like with this support here and the supports on my arms and legs, I could just be in that rig. I could be in there for 5 hours. So it was no problem at all. But I didn't tell anybody because I wanted everyone to know that I was tough. So Sarah gets on the set. The very first shot is her close-up over my shoulder, 25 feet, and my shoulder's all fuzzy and out of focus and stuff. And we're on her face. And she comes on set and she looks up at me and goes, you know, I think I have to go to the bathroom. Because she's messing with me. We're friends, right? And I just go, well, Sarah, it's your show. You go to the bathroom. I mean, if you're uncomfortable for the close-up, well, none of us have any jobs. And she goes, oh, James, I'm just kidding. Let's go. And I'm like, no. You go back to the big old trailer you have. Why don't you take a nap? You got that new thing, that TiVo thing, man, I'm sure they recorded something that you enjoy. I'm sure you could sit down and have a nice lunch. Why don't you go? Because I swear to God, I got kids, and we're all hoping that you look fresh. So please, it's not called the Spike Show, it's the Buffy Show. We all know that. So, and we go back and forth, and finally I talk her into leaving the set. And immediately, all of her minions start coming in trying to talk me down, and I will not come down. And 20 minutes later, she comes back and just goes, I'm ready. That was sweet. But again, this is not because I had a need to put her in her place. This is just that she was the lead, and so I just, a politically powerful person, if you put them in my range, I just have to take them down.
Did you pick many fights on the schoolyard in school?
No, I got picked on, which is why I had this attitude. Yeah.
Right here.
I'm a huge fan. I was wondering maybe what for you was like the role that got away, something maybe not know that you almost had but didn't close, and something you thought you'd be perfect for?
Like 1,000 things, man.
But pick one.
I can't. The thing is, like what you're taught is like you get the script and you make it the center of your life, and then you go audition and give your little show, and then as you walk out of the audition, you throw that script in the trash. And you drive away and just forget about it because there's another audition coming and you don't want to get your heart broken. So there were many. Number one. Yeah.
Next question.
So it's the 10th and final season of Smallville, and I was just wondering if they've come to you, talked to you, signed anything, get Brainiac back on the show for the last half of the season?
If they do, I'll come. But they haven't called yet, no. Well, write them! Tweet them! Yeah.
Over here.
Hello. Do you ever play Bioshock and save the little sisters just because they're voiced by Juliet Lando?
I played, is this Bioshock 2 or 1?
Both.
Really? The Little Sisters of Juliet? I played the first Bioshock, and I just felt too constrained. You're down there in the rat maze, and it's just room after room, small rooms like that. And I know that they're trying to do that to you and make you feel claustrophobic, but I got uncomfortable, so I like wide open spaces, like I like Red Dead Redemption. Yeah, so I'll go back to Bioshock 1. Maybe I'll just buy Bioshock 2 and find Juliet. Yeah, I'll save her 1,000,000 times. Yeah, it's Juliet. I'll go through it. Yeah.
Here we go.
Hi, I was reading online that you were really looking forward to your representation of Piccolo in Dragon Ball Evolution before it came out. Now, since it's been done and you said you were a fan, what do you think of that role now after you saw the completed version?
I did my role brilliantly. I didn't get a stuntman. I was out in the desert and I was like, F this, Piccolo will live. I was in the makeup trailer saying, make me greener, make me older, make me ugly, go. And the makeup guy was like, we might get fired for that, James. I'm like, the producer is not here. If he cared, he'd be out in the desert in Durango, Mexico with us. He's in LA on a waterbed. Greener. Yeah.
So there was this episode of Angel, and there was this question that came up that really tore apart me and my friends when it came up in conversation. So I have to ask you, who would win in a fight, an astronaut or a caveman?
Well, you know, the astronauts are very short, you know, because they have to fit into the capsule. So they're casting very little people to begin with, you know. I think it's the context, like where are they fighting? Like, if they're gonna fight in a technologically advanced situation, the astronauts are gonna kick it, right? If they're gonna fight with no technology, the cavemen are probably gonna win. So it depends on where they're fighting.
Open field, no technology.
Cavemen! Cavemen! By the way, they are starting to understand that Neanderthals are more intelligent than we. They thought that they were stupid, but now they're realizing that they actually had a higher intelligence level than we do now. So, cavemen.
Thank you.
Back over here.
So I had the misfortune of seeing Buffy after being forced to read the first Twilight book. And I realize that there are probably people in here who like Twilight, and I'm not going to bash on them, but I do have to ask, what are your opinions of the vampires in Twilight as compared to the vampires in Buffy?
Do you have a 10-foot pole I can touch that with? Oh, man. You know, it got my niece to read. She's also my daughter. And she, you know, the Harry Potter got my son to read, and Twilight got my daughter to read. And now my daughter is reading a book a day. So I got no complaints against Twilight. As an audience member, I'm a purist. Like, I'm a guy that says, you know, in Shakespeare, if Shakespeare put it in this year, in this place, don't change it. Like, don't make Macbeth into a gangster opera. F that, man. It's specific to its place and time. He had 800 years of history to place his stuff in, and he placed it in the right place at the right time. So I'm a purist. So I think if you're a vampire, you got to rip people's throats out. You know, I'm a purist, so there's no such thing as a gentleman vampire. It doesn't exist. So I don't know how to really relate to it.
Unless, of course, they have a soul.
Well, yeah.
So you don't know if Spike would be Team Edward or Team Jacob?
That Jacob is so hot, bro.
Well, wouldn't Spike automatically hate the vampires are getting all the girls anyway? So.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, he's got to lay down his turf, so he would go to war right away.
Go back here.
Hi, thank you. You've been an actor and a musician for a very long time. Is there anything you learned specifically from your fellow actors or fellow musicians during that time?
Yeah, to embrace fear. That when you're in front of an audience, I forget who was this, I think it was Bob Scoggins in Chicago started talking to me about this. It's like that feeling when you're on stage and you want to run off or you want to hit somebody. Like he said, in nature, the only time that animals stare at each other is when they're going to think about attacking or eating them. So in a very deep level, when you're in front of an audience and everyone's looking at you and not glancing but staring at you, you have a huge fight-flight reflex. You either want to run away or punch back. And what art asks you is to get past that and then reveal yourself in a more vulnerable way than you even do to your family. And that is kind of why it's holy, or why it's sacred, or why it's such a gift. And I think about that all the time. How do I reveal myself very honestly when I really feel like punching somebody?
Over here.
Hello.
Hello.
So I've been watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer for about 18 years now. So I'm a true fan.
Right on.
And I was just wondering, what is the best episode that you can remember ever filming?
There were a lot.
I'm just asking for one.
You know, I think it's the musical. I think it's the musical. Yeah. The truth is that, you know, for me and Tony Head, it wasn't that much of a problem because we were already performing, we were already singing in public. But the rest of the cast were hired to be one-camera dramatic actors, and that's what they're good at. And suddenly, Joss decides he wants to write a musical. And he's asking us to be musical comedy actors, and dance and sing. And it's kind of like asking a fire eater to juggle chainsaws. It's like, I'm great with the fire, dude, but I'm going to cut myself in half with the chainsaws. Yeah, so like one day I'm getting done with my lunch nap, which is like a 5-minute nap you get after you eat your horrible food. And Josh comes up on the trailer and he hands me a cassette and he says, well, this is your homework for the next episode. I'm like, okay, cool. Go over, put it in, and it's Josh and his wife, two wonderful people, very creative, singing and playing, Josh is playing the piano, both of them are singing all the parts to these songs. But Josh cannot play the piano. and he cannot sing. And his wife is a wonderful, beautiful woman. She doesn't sing great either. And I just kind of come out of my trailer like, what the hell is that? And I see everyone else coming out of their trailer too. Like, what the hell? Whoa! We really thought he went insane. You megalomaniac. You're gonna lead us all to our doom. And so that was the low point. And then after a while, people figured out that we weren't going to get out of this, and we're going to film this. And everybody kind of screwed their courage to the sticking place and got outside trainers. Like Sarah got 2 vocal coaches and really did the work. And then there was this one moment about 3 days into filming, because the Xander dance scene was the first thing to film. He cut that. He did a really rough cut of it and showed it to us on the soundstage, and it was fabulous. And we went from just being in the depths of hell to going, oh my God, we're gonna be fabulous! Yeah, I was never more proud of us. We really had to be brave that week, and I was very proud of us as a company. Welcome.
And just to let everyone know, we're gonna have time for about 2 more questions. Yeah. Now my rules.
That's 50 minutes already?
Yeah, we've been going. Yeah. So we'll go back over here.
Hi, James.
Hello, love.
You have been asked several times about filming romantic scenes and that it's not romantic at all because of everything that you have to do. But from a viewer's standpoint, which scene do you think is the most romantic or the sexiest?
Sorry, man, as a viewer, bumping boots with Buffy while the house come down. Thank you. You're welcome. John was hot, but no, the house came down. We went through the floor, man. I was proud of that. I'm such a good lover that I
You
break the floor.
didn't just break the bed, you took out the whole floor.
Thank God she was a slayer.
All right, last question.
When you started doing the audiobooks for the Dresden Files, had you seen any of the TV show that ended, the rest of the books, and would you be interested in doing another TV show or having been in that one, or is the audiobook sort of a separate thing from your acting?
I've never seen the television show. I enjoy doing the books. Again, it terrifies me to do the books, just staring into a void and having to come up with a whole universe myself. I would love to do a TV version of the character, but I just don't feel like I'm tall enough. I feel like I got everything. I feel like I got the attitude, I got the kind of film noir sensibility and everything, but he's described so often as being long and lanky that I think that's very important that he is. I think it's Nick Cage's role, frankly. I mean, he would be great.
And unfortunately, that's it. We're out of time.
Guys, thank you. I hope I see you later on this